this is Hina, the Fashion Doctor. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about books. That's right, it's Book Talk Day. Magical effects. But yes, I have 3 wonderful books that I would like to talk to you about. And I grew up watching Reading Rainbow, so there's no way I can't have books in my channel. Okay, so this section is actually a little different from the first set of books that I had picked for you. By the way, just ignore this situation happening. My hair is growing back and it's between like a nice pixie cut and a crew cut, and it's not pretty. But let's ignore that, pretend it's not there. So yeah, this segment is gonna be a little different from the last segment I had because these aren't just coffee table fashion books. These are books that'll make you think. I'm so sleepy. Okay, so the first book we're talking about is Fashion, a history from the 18th to the 20th century. And look at all these tags. Look at all these tags. I've read it so well. So it's actually a collection of the Kyoto Costume Institute. And this is the first fashion book I had ever purchased. And let me tell you, it was worth the money because everything in this book, every detail, every picture ties it into history, and it parallels what people wore with the politics of that time, which you think, oh, there's no relationship between those two. Guess what? There is, and this book will prove that. I don't even know where to start. This is so extensive. You know, this book is actually divided by a century, and the 20th century is 2 parts. So what attracted me to this book was that little front pocket right here, and it reads, dress codes. The ultimate compendium of clothing. Clothes define people. A person's attire, whether it's a sari, kimono, or business suit, is an essential code to his or her culture, class, personality, even faith. The Kyoto Costume Institute recognizes the importance of understanding clothes from sociological, historical, and artistic perspectives. With one of the world's most extensive clothing collections, the KCI has amassed a wide range of historical garments, underwear, shoes, and fashion accessories dating from the 18th century to the present day. That's insane, guys, okay? That's insane. They basically have a collection of some 400 clothes, with customized mannequins, and they wrote a book on it because they have so much information. And I have to agree with that little front pocket completely. Clothes define people, and also, what the hell? I would not wear that. That's torture. That's a torture device. By the way, these things, they were designed by men who did not have to wear them. That pissed me off, guys. You men, go wear that. So, according to the foreword of this book, they actually had to customize the mannequins because body type changed with the century. Not even just a century, within the century, the ideal figure of a woman changed based on whatever trends and perceptions they had at that time. So they had to collect the clothes, maintain the clothes, and also make very customized mannequins for each of these clothes. That's a lot of work. So just a sort of warning, this is more of a Western fashion book. You won't find a lot of things from Asia or South America, but they do go into how trade routes and just more globalization ended up changing what was available and popular in the Western world. A lot of cottons, silks, fans, accessories, things that normally they would not find in the Western world were imported. Ha, we still do that. They have a lot on men's fashion, and yeah, that's all I have to say. They have a lot on men's fashion. You see that, guys? Things got a little racy in 1835. Check out that ankle cleavage. I'm just here laughing at my own jokes. Seriously, that was considered avant-garde in 1835, showing ankles. Wow. One more thing I actually want to point out in this book is this particular coat right here. What I find intriguing is that it's Indian cashmere, it was French made, and it was Japanese in design. Honestly, guys, I don't find that happening anymore. I mean, yeah, if you live somewhere, it'll be designed there, but most of the time, a lot of things are just made in China. And I find that intriguing because here in America, we import everything. And it's a little scary because just about the only things I can think of that we make here is like Pyrex glass and maybe popsicle sticks. I feel like there was more diversity back then when it came to sourcing and manufacturing, and a lot more things were maybe made in the country that they sold it in, versus now everything is made in another country and sourced in another country, and there's no transparency. It was just a fact that I wanted to point out. But yes, guys, I 100% recommend the book. It is so visually stunning. It's like a blast from the past, and you don't even have to get up. So read this, check this out, guys, you might like it. But guys, I recommend this book for you fashion history buffs out there. If you like fashion and you like history, put them together, and this is a match made in heaven. So this is for you. Also, even if you just like looking through magazines, history books, if you like museums, this is your book. The second book is Fashionpedia, and this is the visual dictionary of fashion design. And this has everything, I mean it. It has styling, it has history, it has manufacturing details, it has all the production details that you need in technical flats, which are basically drawings that you give a manufacturer in order to make your clothes. I love the textile section. This is a jack of all trades, or yeah, technically a jack of all fashion trades kind of book. If you are curious about fashion, if you're curious about fashion design, what exactly it entails, I recommend this book because it'll give you the most concise little synopsis that you need. It even has a little timeline in the beginning that ends with the Spice Girls. There is no fashion timeline in the history of forever without the Spice Girls. Do you understand me? And it'll give you details that you won't believe are needed for the entire process of manufacturing. My favorite part is actually the manufacturing section. It gives you so many details on the dyeing and printing process. If ever you want to choose a fabric in order to make your clothes, then it'll give you the pros and cons of choosing each type of fabric. It'll give you dyeing details, printing details, Okay guys, so this book I actually recommend for aspiring fashion designers and people who are curious about everything that goes on behind the scenes in the fashion world. Because in order for a piece of clothing to get to you, it needs to be designed by someone. Then someone needs to send out technical flats to the manufacturer and see if it can be made. There have to be so many specifications. There are basically rough drafts going back and forth, and then you decide on the printing, the material, the tailoring details, and all of that is then presented to you when you walk into a Ross and you decide, oh, you know what, I want this cashmere top, or you know what, I want this random cotton or linen blouse. And before you can do that, all of this work needs to take place. And you can see it here. I really enjoyed it, and I use it as a student, and I think I would have loved it even if I weren't a student. So I recommend it, yes. Ta-da! We're on the last book. We made it, or technically I made it. You're gonna see some 10-minute version of it on YouTube. But this is the last book. I've eaten half my lipstick, and I've finished my wonderful tea. And my buzz cut is really something. The last book is The End of Fashion by Terry Aggins. It is a book on how marketing changed the clothing business forever. And guys, when I say this is a thinking book, I mean put your thinking hat on, because for those of you who are interested in business, I mean, it doesn't even have to be fashion business. It can be marketing, it can be any business you're in. You're going to learn something from this book. Because the way it is explained, you're gonna feel like you're actually there, experiencing it as an insider, seeing what business dealings are happening between these huge conglomerates, and hell, even some of the drama that happens. Oh my God, this fashion industry can be dramatic. At least that's what I took from this. There aren't a lot of pictures in this book, but it is so well researched that you're gonna feel like you're right there experiencing it. Which is funny because the research spans a number of years, decades, and it basically shows how fashion trends change based on socioeconomic factors, you know, demographics, and it gives very specific stories for a lot of designers. Designers like Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. It's Tommy Hilfiger, right? Look at me, mispronouncing everything. A lot of American brands, but also luxury brands, and how a lot of these luxury brands kind of change depending on the hype during that time. Louis Vuitton, Gucci, how a lot of these designers got their start, and I think the best story was Ralph Lauren. I mean, this guy was basically a salesperson. He does not have a fashion designer certificate or, sorry, not certificate, degree, but this man made a hell of a business, and I was impressed by it all. You know, I also like that she started talking about LVMH. I believe I'm using the right terms, but it is a conglomerate of businesses. You think Louis Vuitton is big? You think Gucci is big? This is like the all-encompassing business of these businesses. These people are the big guys. They own everything. And I'm just impressed that, you know, her level of research could reach that point, because I don't hear these names on, you know, Instagram or Facebook. I hear the brand names themselves. Okay, so now another point that she goes through is licensing. That was one of the things that I suppose ruined fashion. A lot of these designers, what they do is they will license a particular product to an outside company. The most common being perfumes. And this is how they make a lot of money. They just put their name on it, they license it out, and it is sold in some other country under their name. So someone in Hong Kong will be like, oh yeah, I got this Calvin Klein special edition perfume. When in reality, Calvin Klein has no idea that it is a special edition perfume, because some of these companies are licensed up to the T. You know, she further gets into Donna Karan, private equities, investments, the stock market. All these things are so interesting and definitely have more to do with the marketing and business side of fashion. They also mention Armani. How could I forget? Armani, Giorgio Armani. By the way, his scent, Armani C Intense, oh my God. That is the sexiest scent I have ever smelled on myself, or ever in general. So I recommend you get that scent. I bet it's licensed. So the audience of this book are people who are interested in advertising, marketing, the history of fashion. Again, this goes into history. But you know, I feel like a lot of people who do business in general can have a good couple of takeaway points from this book. So I recommend it for you marketing and business folks, you fashion folks. And yeah, this is a fantastic book. It was such a good read. Good job, Terry Aggins. That's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are inspired to read more books. Yeah, I've run out of things to say. So have a good day wherever you are, and see you next time. Bye. Am I even looking at the camera? That thing again. Oh yeah, the camera's there. Hey, if any of you become famous fashion designers, license away, become rich. Don't take any of my advice, relationship or otherwise.